Across Waters is a 3D animated film that focuses on the theme of grief and unrequited love, following the story of a lonely frog that falls in love with a mourning swan. During the early stages of production, we visited the Manchester Museum. The raptor exhibition immediately caught my eyes, especially the green poison dart frog. The vivid colors and life made me think of the emotions that they may be feeling and how I could portray them in my film. I started with looking on Pinterest for 3 images that could tell my story without words. This frog reminded me of the one I saw in the museum, both completely isolated, making me feel empathy similar to what I want the audience to feel when they watch the film. The fishes were my initial idea for my secondary character, but I realized I was more drawn to the bright pink and blue lighting. Therefore, I took lighting inspiration from that instead. This swan immediately caught my attention. From its body language to its eyes, all I could see was grief and devotion. At this point, I knew my secondary character in my film has to be the swan. This was my initial storyboard. I was going for more of a wonderland and surreal approach. However, as I developed my story further, I realized I wanted to focus more on the characters rather than the background. This is my final mood board showing exactly the vibe I wanted from my film. My first step was to model the frog. I attempted to use ZBrush but later moved to Maya as I did not want to worry about the typology. Modeling in Maya was easier as I had more control over how I wanted the frog to look like, giving him softer features and circular eyes. I then moved to rigging. Learning how to rig was useful as it was a skill I had never learned before. With some guidance, I was successfully able to rig the swan and frog. Personally found the skin weighting the most difficult and most time-consuming part. Having to ensure that the weight went on correctly was the most challenging as it could have completely caused the whole frog to remesh or bend in unrealistic ways. This personally took me a couple of days to complete the process. I really enjoyed working on 3D modeling in Maya as it helped me build confidence with the software and improve my understanding of the modeling workflow. Through experimenting with different tools and techniques, I became more comfortable with solving problems and refining my work. Overall, it was a valuable experience as it strengthened both my technical skills and my approach to creative modeling. During early stages of production, I came across an issue with the rig with my frog. This caused me a huge problem as I was not able to animate that week. Therefore, I tried emailing every 3D teacher that I knew of. However, due to timing schedules, they were not able to respond as fast as I needed them to. This led me to collaborate with Arif, who has a strong background in Blender, in which he imported the frog from Maya into Blender, re-rigged it and skin weighted, and brought it back into Maya for me to animate with. Although the collaboration was ultimately successful and the frog rig was set up, there were still subtle issues due to it being a Blender heavy setup. Ideally, the hierarchy control should have driven the entire frog animation, but this didn't function as expected. As a result, I had to animate each part individually rather than relying on the rig, which made the process more time consuming. I did attempt to create a master control, but the rig did not respond to it properly. During production, one scene I changed was my lotus flower transition. Initially, I planned on using a bird's eye view, but after placing it into the animatic, I realized it was not visually appealing. Therefore, I decided to use the camera to track the flower instead, as it created a much smoother transition. However, due to software issues in Maya, the file crashed during rendering without saving. This forced me to rebuild the scene, which resulted in lighting inconsistency between the transitions. To overcome this, when compositing, I used Adobe After Effects to adjust the lighting on the lotus flower and smooth the transition between the shots. However, due to harsh shadow changes, I was unable to fully hide the lighting difference, so I used shades and opacity to adjust and make it less noticeable. This taught me the importance of keeping my raw footage consistent. When animating the frog, most of it went smoothly. However, the jump was more challenging due to its stronger body movement. Therefore, I had to look up references online and create my own, which helped me understand the squash and stretch of the frog's legs and hands. This improved my animation, changing it from unrealistic rotations to much more smoother transition between the key frames. Overall, I really enjoyed making this film. The production was challenging at times, but it helped me develop various new skills that will be useful for me in future projects. It was a valuable learning experience for someone who had not done a 3D full animated film before.